Every veteran has a story of sacrifice, courage, humor, and heartache. Each week, Veteran Story Hour captures these remarkable stories firsthand in the voices of those who've served. Recorded live from the weekly Friday brunch in the Saluda, Virginia studio in Waynesboro, this is more than a podcast. It's a living history, preserving the legacy of America's heroes. You're listening to Veteran Story Hour, Voices of Valor, presented by Saluda, Virginia. Let's begin. Some men join the military with a plan. Others just reach a breaking point at a red light in Texas. Rob Beaton didn't grow up dreaming of command. He just wanted steady pay, a chance to see the world, and maybe, just maybe, a way out of small-town Iowa. What followed was a 35-year Navy career that took him from E1 to commander, through aircraft maintenance hangars, overseas deployments, and more than a few hard lessons about leadership, sacrifice, and resilience. Now retired, Rob isn't done serving. These days you'll find him in Waynesboro, helping rebuild something just as vital: community. The American Legion Post 340 isn't a bar full of old war stories. It's a place where service continues, where veterans of every age can find purpose again, and where the next generation is learning that mentorship and belonging still matter. This episode is about what we carry after the uniform comes off, about what it means to be useful, and about why, in a time when so much feels disconnected, the American Legion might just be more relevant than ever. Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Beaton.
I'm Rob Beaton. I'm a retired Navy. I was aviation maintenance. Joined in 1986, retired in 2021. Was in the LDO program where you went from enlisted to officer. I made E7 at the 12-year mark. Became an officer at the 14-year mark, and then stayed in for 35 years.
So you marry your elementary school sweetheart.
Yep.
And no, I'm all about.
No,
listen,
that's a fact.
The fact is, my grandparents met in the 4th grade as well.
Yeah.
And if you talk to my grandmother, she's just
Yeah.
like, "Well, I was going steady with your grandpa by the 5th grade." I'm like, "Grandma, I don't even know what that means."
We sealed the deal by the 5th grade, but that's, I mean, that might not be important, but no,
But it's relevant to the story.
It is relevant. No, she moved into our little town, Iowa, just a farming community. She moved from a kind of a bigger town to a smaller town. Her dad owned a business there and became the mayor and all that kind of stuff. And then we started really dating in ninth grade. And then I think we broke up for a year, went and sowed our wild oats, and then got back together and moved in together, went out and tried to be a farmer, way too damn hard, and kind of followed the job. So
how does that conversation go?
Yeah.
Where it is, I think the military is going to be the direction that I think I need to go, because, right, Zach's story is a great one with Leah, but it's very upfront. Like, Leah knows she's about to be an Army wife.
Yeah.
Your bride didn't necessarily sign up front being like,
No.
"Oh yeah, no, I'm totally okay with the fact that you're just not ever going to be here."
Well,
yeah, let's roll.
Right?
We both have never left Iowa. And then we went to Texas and went, wow, there's other people. There's other ethnicities. There's other people that we actually enjoy being around. And then when there wasn't anything, when I came home and told her, these are what these guys are offering, steady pay. When you have 2 kids, man, you're looking for steady pay and benefits, even though I didn't even really know what all that shit was either. So I said, and it says we can go see the world. And she's like, I'm in. We're finally out of Iowa. I understand what it's like to be out of small town Iowa, and I don't want to go back. Neither one of us did. So our very first station was once I went through boot camp was Oceana, Virginia, or in Virginia Beach. We had to look it up on the map. I don't know where Virginia was, but where the hell is Virginia Beach? And then from then on, we just did nothing but travel as a family.
That rules.
Yeah.
So you had 2 kids.
Absolutely. So I was in E1 with 2 kids. So I didn't have any money till I made 04. And then, no, yeah, I didn't have it.
Well,
You didn't have any money for the first 10 years?
Oh, at least 10 years, man. At least 10 years. Yeah,
that is like infinitely more complicated.
absolutely.
Every single step of the way. I didn't get married right out of high school, but I got married at 20 and was still going to college. And for sure, like going to school, I was still playing sports.
Yeah.
I was getting my master's degree, was married for a year, had a new baby that was coming. Like, I know what that was like, balancing all those pieces.
Yeah.
And for sure, like our honeymoon, we went on a honeymoon. My wife talks about it. She had a honeymoon because we got married the day before we went to a bowl week, which means I practiced all week while she laid on the beach in Miami. Like, so she had,
she did.
she had a honeymoon, but I was at practice. So that was one of those things where that started to kind of get her warmed up to the fact where it's like, hey, if my husband's going to continue to play, you're going to be gone.
Yeah.
And that seemed to be, but the fact that obviously your wife just being totally down,
right?
Like, it's just like, no, let's do this. That had to have been huge for you psychologically.
It was. Well, which meant that she supported what I was doing because I had no family. I had an uncle that did like 3 tours in Vietnam, but you know, he was a ways away. He was in Colorado. We saw him once a year. So I didn't know what the military was. I had no idea. And it was only because of that sign that I even went to the Navy. I'd have been a 4-star by now if I was in the Army, as far as I'm concerned. But
I was going to say, so what you're telling me is if there's an Army billboard right there, you would have went to the Army and made a good choice?
I probably got out after the first tour. Yeah, I don't know. But it was just there every day. And every day I was looking at it. And all I did is turn into there. And she was the first one that my recruiter popped out and said, I said, what do you have? What the hell does that sign mean out there? And she said, let me show you. And I just went home. We sat down for a minute. And she said, I'm in.
That's
I'm in,
awesome.
man. Let's go.
So the time period that you are in service, we were talking off air.
Yeah.
You're only retired as of 4 years ago.
I did. Yep. So I went in as an E1, and I went to E7, and they have a thing called, I don't know if you know anything about the Navy, but it's called the LDO CWO program, where you can go from enlisted officer.
Why couldn't they fit more acronyms into that?
Yeah,
name?
I know. And the limited is you can't be in charge of a ship. You know, you got to go through a lot of shit to understand how to be a skipper of a ship and all that. Well, that's not we basically do our specialty. So aircraft maintenance was my specialty. So I applied, they picked me up, and 35 years later, we finished. I retired as an 05, and that's why I'm not working now. I'm good. We are good. Absolutely good.
That's a long way from no money. We're not sure what we're going to do. 2 kids.
To retiring at 57 with no worries.
That's amazing.
I have no worries.
As you look back at your career, are there some pieces or highlights that kind of really jump out? You have a young person that's coming to you.
Yeah.
They're thinking, hey, I'm thinking maybe this is something. There's no work, right? The work that I want to do, it doesn't pay me enough, right? Food keeps getting more expensive, like all the problems that we know exist right now.
Yeah.
As you think back at what would drive your answer to that young person, what are those moments that stick out to you that would cause you to push that person in one direction or another?
Yep. One is and you guys know this, when you are in, or I hope you know this, you're surrounded with a totally different family. You don't have any idea. I mean, you have your friends, you have your parents and all your support back home. But once you're in, that is a whole different family of the brotherhood that has your back and all that. And the Navy as a whole kept us and took care of us, whatever we needed, we took advantage of. And that is the key, taking advantage of everything thrown at you. Don't just do the day-to-day bullshit work, which we all have to do. When I was an E1, I was swabbing decks all fucking day and wondering when I'm going to go work on aircraft. Well, you got to do your time, but somebody has to do it. We can't pay everybody to clean our buildings. We can't pay everybody to mow the grass and all that shit there is. So we have to do it until you get some time in and some experience in. But meanwhile, you can't sit back and go, well, I'm just sitting here. I had no reason to go down to the shop and see what those guys are doing because I want to get out of here. You got to go, man. You got to go see what they're doing and show somebody like, this fucking guy wants in. He wants what we have to offer, and they will bring you in. Now, if you go in and say, all I've been doing is stupid shit, and when you get to your shop to actually work on something, that's what you're going to get is stupid shit. You gotta embrace what's there. They will take care of you 24/7.
Oh, yeah.
I had my kids, had my daughter get sick when I was in E2, like really sick, viral meningitis. Those guys let me go to the hospital and just say, call me in the morning, man. Tell me how she's doing. Call me in the morning. And I was out for 2 weeks without, and all I'm worried about is, I didn't make muster. I'm going to get my ass. They just took care of me, the whole chain of command. They will do that for you. I know every story is different, but just knowing that you are taken care of, you're going to get a paycheck. I got a paycheck for 35 years, every single freaking time, every time. So you can count on that money.
But you earned that. You earned that moment as an E2. You earned that through that effort as an E1. You know, it's one of those pieces where I think it's, are you a glass half full guy or a glass half empty guy?
Yeah.
And at those pieces where for me, it's always, I had a coach that used to say, we're going to get our pound of flesh from you. Yeah. Make no mistake about it. Yeah. We're going to get everything out of you. Yeah. It's up to you to get it out of us while you're here as well. Yeah. Get everything you can from us.
Yep.
And if you earned it, because you built a reputation of being a guy that's like, I'm going to put my nose down. I'm going to get after it. Whatever needs to be done, I'm going to do it. Baldwin talked about this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even like when I was in different schools for stuff too. So when you go to different military schools, you have the kids who want to go and they're there to do exactly what they're told to do. Yeah. And then you have the kids who take opportunity of, study hall to go learn stuff like extra things or get in-depth knowledge of stuff. Those people are usually more successful in that school just because they've taken that effort upon themselves.
That's right.
Like they know if I don't do this, and so say I fail something and then I go in there and they're like, hey, well, what have you been doing? And you don't have anything to show them, then they're going to kick your ass to the curb and not care. Because like when I was in EOD school, you'd go down there and you'd take notes. Your notebook can't go home with you or can't go to your barracks room or anything, but it stays at the school. And that's the first thing they ask for. Like if you fail a test, they're like, how have you prepared for this? Yeah. And if you go in there and your shit's blank, don't even think that you're going to stay for tomorrow. Like you're going home right now because they know you didn't put any effort into this. And so why would they invest more effort into you when you're not giving anything?
Yep. What has changed between when were you when was that time? What year?
So that was 2011.
Okay. What has really changed throughout the time is now EOD is a little more specialized. If we had a guy that just kept fucking up, we absolutely can't afford to shit can him. We had to keep him in there, whether it's intrusive leadership, which nobody likes. I can make, I can make you do it, but man, don't make me make you do it. So it took a lot, I would tell you, over my time. You had to understand what every kid was going through. What I think made me, I am not bragging whatsoever. I'm not even saying I was good, but what made me understand was E1 with 2 kids to an 05 with, the same amount of kids. And I came all the way up through there. So I went through absolutely everything. On the deployments, gone, goodbye, honey, see you in 9 months or whenever the fuck I'm going to come back. And that's where that family part came in. But nowadays, the manpower is so hard, man, so hard. You can't afford to lose one. Yep. If the dude does drugs, we're even almost giving him a half-ass second chance again because we have so much invested in you. We have to figure out what your fucking problem is. And if it's you're stupid, you're not stupid. Everybody can learn whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
The military, there's plenty of stuff for stupid people like me to go figure out and go do. If that's what you are, which you aren't. You just need to find out what that niche is for that guy. And maybe we tend to shit can them to admin jobs. Oh my God. You know how many admin people we have?
Yep. You're going to S1.
We don't need, that's it. Yeah. You're going to supply, you're going to admin, and who doesn't want them? Supply and admin if they're fucking up there. But sometimes you just got to find their niche, man. And that makes a good sailor, soldier. But you got to invest your time in them. Hard to do when you have shit to do that's got to go now.
Well, I think you're going through basically all of the stages of being enlisted.
Yeah.
It gives you a different perspective to be able to relate to that kid.
Yeah.
So by the time, you're an 01 and you have an E1 who's coming in there and is like, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. Well, you can relate to that because you've been him.
Yeah.
And, I had a guy tell me one time that the best officers were always enlisted first, because the Army has the same type of enlisted program. You can go warrant.
Yep.
And so for us, generally, aside from some of the guys who have just been bred out of West Point, who that's what they wanted to do their entire life,
Right.
the best leadership that you get is usually from somebody who can relate or has had some sort of similar struggle that you're going through.
I agree.
And we've talked about it frequently on this podcast, where the idea of like empathy is a piece that's earned. Really cannot be. If you try and fake it, you're disingenuous, right? Come across as an ass.
Yeah.
But it gave you an edge. The fact that you came in, like you said, it's like, no, I understand. I know how hard this is. I can tell you explicitly. And then you put in such a long career as well of being able to, like, it doesn't matter. You'd be hard pressed to find somebody that's been in longer than you that had that lived experience through every one of those phases of like, how complicated could we make it? And hey, listen, I understand.
Yep.
The mentality too, that you mentioned, the idea of like, hey, we can't afford to lose one. So if somebody starts to slip up, it is, how many more resources can we throw? How many more resources can we throw at this kid to be able to give them the support that they need?
Yeah.
How much of a contrast is that of what we're seeing just in civilian life?
It's the same thing, isn't it? So finding good, let's go to the Legion. We have currently 95 people, but we have a core of, and it just increased, we had a core of 12 people that were engaged. And when one person throws up their hands and says, I'm fucking tired, man. I can't do all these events. You try to go find other people. It's hard, man. Everybody's got stuff to do. So you have to figure out how to keep that person in, even though we're all old as shit. You got to figure out how to keep that person engaged, just all the way down to what we're doing now, and we're just trying to make a difference with that. But when I forgot where the fuck I was going with this, but when we're whether you're a civilian or military, if you can't, it's easy for us to shit can them. Here's the type of person you should shit can. We had a guy that came in, and at 2 a.m, they called me. I had to go wake up, and he was one of our troops in our division. And this is the one and only guy that you should send home. Everybody else you should put time into. He just kept disappearing on the ship. And if you don't know anything about disappearing on the ship, that's a bad thing. You don't know if he fell overboard or whatever. Well, it was in the middle of the night. He was up on the flight deck without a float coat. If you go up, you got to have a float coat in case you get blown over and all that shit, so you can float until the sharks eat you or whatever it is you do. And then they found him, so he was down in with the doc, and said, "Your guy's got issues." He went up there, put a watch on each hand, faced in this direction, put it on there, and was spinning in the catwalk, waiting for the mothership. And I'm not bullshitting you. That's what he said. And they're like, "This guy needs some help." Well, this is the same guy so we didn't kick him out then, but so then 9/11 happened, and then everybody stood with weapons. There was 50 cals on the roof. There was all this stuff. And they asked the same guy. He was just the feeder of the 50 cal. And he's like, Are you good? Man, I got to go to the bathroom. You just have to watch us. I'll be right back. And he's like, well, I can't guarantee I won't lock and load and shoot people. Well, that's the guy that went home. But we put hours upon hours, I'm not shit, hours upon hours into him because we had so much invested in him. And he was a good dude. You could sit there and talk to him, but man, he just had a hard time working and all that type of stuff. And the civilian world, I think, is the same thing. It's easy for them to, it seems like, I don't know, I didn't join the civilian world, so to speak. I didn't dive into work because I don't think you want me. So not only that, but I swear a lot. And by the time I get where I'm at, I'm absolutely going to tell you what's fucked up about the place. Not that, but only on a good criticism so we can help each other make this place better. So I don't know.
Well, I will tell you, having been in the civilian world, it is what you've just described of throwing resources at, viewing these people as an investment, is the exact contrary to what exists right now in the civilian world. The reality is that it's, if you can't cut it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we'll find somebody else who can.
Yeah, or they won't. And they'll just be closed on Monday because now they don't have enough staff and they don't have enough people that are going to be working.
That's exactly what I'm talking. You have to close because you just didn't spend. I mean, if you're doing something wrong, that's one thing. But if you're just, you know what, man, I don't think you're here for us. You got to put time in, especially the military. You got to put time into that person. They're missing something. They came in. They didn't come in to fuck up and be a shitbag. None of us did. Most of us didn't. None of us did. And you just have to find their niche. Just because you send him off to be an aircraft electrician, once he gets in it, that shit might suck. That's not his thing. He climbing up on aircraft, hanging over the deck, or hanging over the the water off a flight deck. That may not be his thing, but you can find something. There's so many other undermanned areas that you can put that guy into, but most of the time we don't want to put in the time and the effort because we'll find another guy. Well, fuck, it takes 4 years to get that next guy. Number one, he's got to go through boot camp, 3 years or a couple years of training to get where you're already shit-canning that guy.
Yeah.
So can't afford it. But I wouldn't understand the civilian community to do the same thing when you hired him. I get it. But you know how long it takes to hire a dude? I have a buddy who's trying to get a job. He's been looking for months and months and months and months, well qualified in all things production and maintenance. And just the interview. I'd starve to death, man.
For real.
I'd be picking strawberries for something. I don't know, $5 a thing, whatever it took.
Well, I mean, that goes back to like my whole thing of when I failed out of EOD school and, you're talking, they ask you, hey, do you want to make a wish list of stuff? And I was like, no, because at this point I'd been in the Army almost a year, and I understood, like, it doesn't matter what I want. Like, at this point, like, because, I mean, I've watched all these people do this and fail, and they're like, yeah, you're going to be a UAV mechanic, you're going to be a prison guard at Leavenworth, you're going to be a fueler, like, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, stand there, nah, whatever they give me, I'll do it because I got to do what they wanted. I wanted to go do, and I fucked that up. So now I'm going to go what they want me to do. And then if I don't like that, so be it.
Somebody should have. Did you have a mentor? When you're in your 1 year, you had a mentor at a year?
No.
Yeah, there's no thing. That didn't exist when I was early in. Yeah. And that's kind of the problem. We assign, the Navy assigns each person a mentor now. And then you chew the mentor's ass. Why is he fucked up? And I'm like, you know why? Because a mentor has 27 jobs. And you just added one more to his thing. So there really has to be somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I got to experience a little bit of seeing that through the Navy because a lot of the duty stations I was at were all joint service.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the guys I worked with were Navy, and they would always say, hey, I got to go to this to mentor this guy. And I'm like, what are you, huh? And they're like, no, I have to, I'm a mentor. I'm like, oh, are you like coaching Little League football? You coaching a swim team or something? And they're like, no, I have to go mentor these sailors. And in my mind, I remember being at Walter Reed and just being like, wow, that would be absolutely amazing for someone to have ever done that for us. And then I got a mentor who wasn't really like an actual mentor, but that was kind of like his persona was that's just who he was. Yeah. And it changed the next 4 years of me being in the Army.
See, that's key right there. You don't have to have the labels. You don't have to have the tag says I'm a mentor, but just somebody who sees something in you that is just, well, I'm going to help this guy get where he needs to be. I've already been there. I'm going to help him get what he needs to be. And as mentors are usually a little more senior, so they can get you. It's a fucked up way to be, but it just is. It's a military. You can get a little more with what you have.
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially when you get into stuff that there's different events or different, board appearances, special duty things you want to do. The military is the world class. It's all who you know.
Unfortunately.
And
sometimes, unfortunately. Sometimes good.
Well, yeah, and if we translate that over back into civilian life as well, the reality is it is for your friend that's looking for a job. It is who you know and who knows you.
Yeah,
that is what gets you a job. There's not been a single job that I've ever gotten except one that I got because I had people on the inside that could vouch for me. They knew me. They were able to give a good word. But it was the military school here in town. Fishburne Military School was the only job that I got because a headhunting agency got my resume to them, and I looked good on paper, and they were desperate. And, and it was because it was one of those things, right? It was like it was August. They didn't have a teacher, and it was we need somebody like right now. And they also needed a football coach, and they needed all these things. Wow. And for me, it was like, all right, cool. I can go do those things because of my background. Yeah. But the mentoring thing, I think that's a really important piece to key in on. there's not been a single thing from my time at Fishburne Military School to any other jobs that I've ever had, even when I was playing sports, having a mentor was everything.
It is.
It's what made a huge difference. And that was already built in for you at the Navy?
No. When I talked about the programs that, going the officer program, I read it. Well, you know what? That's not true. I had an E8, a senior chief said, Beaton, you'd make a good fucking officer. And that he didn't say it in a kind way. However, he helped me become that. And I'm like, well, and he threw a book at me and it was basically how to become. He knew I wasn't going to go to school. I wasn't going to go to college. Again, I have 2 kids and a wife, and that shit's expensive, and it wasn't going to happen.
All kinds of time.
It does. Time, and, I just wasn't going to do that. I did it later, but I wasn't going to do that. So he said, here's the LDO program. Even was I in E5 yet? I think I was in E5, and you have to be an E6 at a minimum to go up for it, but you got to have a lot of shit in your E6 before to make it. So I made it as an E7 because once you make E7, you have all of the experience that's required, and you've been to all the places and checked all the blocks, if that's what it is. But then I sought out a mentor. There was a brand new ensign. He was a former chief, and they said, go see Ensign Crisp. He's down there, and tell him you want to be an LDO. I was like, okay, whatever. After I read through the book, and the dude just set me up, and I was set up for the rest of the time. Fill out this book, follow this book, call me, email me. Well, I don't know if we didn't email back. Call me, come see me, do whatever it is you got to do. And I was with that dude for 2 years. And the first thing I did when I got to the next duty station was look up the next guy. So
yeah,
it was an LDO.
And just it sets you up to where, like you said, it's you now have this playbook of these people that you can lean on.
Yep.
And I always felt like whenever I got time, for every half hour, it was, 6 months worth of learning, just the ability to cut through the bullshit and to be like, this is what you got to do.
Yep.
And then being able to then have that, and then being able to identify who are the mentors, even if they're not by title.
Yeah.
Who are the people that it's like, that person?
Yeah.
I have got to go eat next to them. I've got to go make an excuse or a reason to go talk to them right now.
Yep.
Because if I can get on their radar. And for me, it was always like, how can I be of service? How can I do something to give first, then be able to get, to get a give back.
Yeah.
And I have not found a single time that it has not worked, and that I have not experienced like 10x of the benefit of just planting those seeds, and those nuggets that come from them are just pure gold.
One of the key things I did that I learned early was when I went to a new command, I told them, because the skipper, the old man's always like, what do you want to do here? What's your goals here? It always started with that. I want to be an LDO. Tell them first thing. And all of my chain of command, the chiefs when I was in E6, they're like, fuck officer, bullshit. But they always knew. So when the tough things came up, I was in aviation squadrons. I was in a helo squadron. And when the tough detachments come up and they need an E6 to lead the detachment or whatever, if they already know, number one, you're performing, right? If you're hopefully you're performing. But if Beaton wants to be an officer, this would be a good thing if you went out, performed, came back, all things are good. It just goes in kind of your resume or whatever. Let's give him a shot, man. I went out there numerous times and did that shit. But of course, you have to build the team. If you're not building the team and doing it by yourself, that shit ain't going to work. But I would always, same thing, mentor all those guys, bring those in, or at least try to. You have the outliers, but when you go out as a team and perform, you come back and, it's bullshit. Rob Beaton led this, that we all know that's all bullshit when it's written up like that. But thank God for the E8s and E7s that would write that shit up. But that's what helped me get there. The command knew what my goal was. And once all the bullshit is like, you want to be an officer, no one wants to be an officer. Once that's through, and when they're looking for a guy, they're willing to give you a shot. And that happened numerous times.
Yeah, and it goes back to the point you made earlier where the idea where it's like, you're going to get the shit jobs if that's the behavior that you portray. But if you immediately put up out front, you're leading with like, no, I view myself as a future leader. This is what I want to do. Yep. It's like, oh, okay. Well, that dude's not going to be on latrine duty. He will for a little bit, but once he earns it, we know where he wants to go. We know where his mindset is.
Exactly. Now he's going to lead those guys cleaning the toilets.
That's right. You clean more toilets than anybody ever has. Here's a NAM. Here's a Navy achievement.
Yeah. Now you referenced some deployments.
Yep.
So what were the different deployments that you had that were noteworthy?
Noteworthy. Everyone's noteworthy. You were gone and not getting laid. That's noteworthy. So
That's fair. Hey, listen.
I don't know if that's or you weren't supposed to be. I didn't know. The deployments, my first deployment. So I'll just give you a short scenario where I went. I started Oceana, and it's called intermediate level. So they would take the boxes out of the aircraft, and then somebody's got to work on those boxes and send them back to the squadron. So it's called intermediate maintenance level. So I started there. So it was shore duty. I started the Navy with shore duty. Didn't go to sea for 3 years, and I could have easily got out at the 4 or 5 year mark and never, been in the Navy the whole time. Didn't go to sea. Not what I wanted.
Now, when you say boxes, what does that mean?
Like instruments, anything in the aircraft, electronic boxes, flight control data, all instruments inside the cockpit, engines, all that. They come off aircraft, they go get fixed, and they put them back on the aircraft, or they swap them out.
Sure.
So they had to go to somebody so you can fix, the boxes. So it was really down to the micro level soldering and putting in microchips and all that, and everything that they had that were inside those boxes, fixing the wiring, all that.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then we have a thing called an NEC, which is a Navy enlisted classification. It's like your MOS.
Yeah.
Once you're there, they put money into it. You're going to go where your next one. Even it doesn't matter what you want to do. Like, I want to jump out of planes. No, you want to fix boxes. Fuck, it's all right. So
Yep.
I had a senior chief come back from Cuba. We had an air station in Cuba at that time. We still do, but it was much bigger than. He said, I just came from Cuba. Do you like fishing? I was like, sure, I like fishing. Well, the detailer called and said, I have a spot in Cuba. You're going to Cuba. So packed up the wife and kids, and we went to Cuba for 3 years. Did the same thing, different aircraft, but basically the same thing. And then from there, due to the NEC thing again, I had to go to Brunswick, Maine, because again, different aircraft, but same shit, fixing the same stuff, generators, all the internal stuff.
Yeah.
That's where I met a different mentor, and he's like, you got to quit doing this eye-level stuff, man. You got to go prove, you want to be an LDO, you got to go prove yourself out on the ship, out on the flight line where the action truly is, instead of in a nice air-conditioned place working on these little things. So I'm like, all right, man, I'm in. I'll go to a squadron. I'll do whatever you got to do. They said, nope, you're going to Greenland. I'm like, fuck, I'm not going to Greenland.
Oh, you're going. Your ticket's right here, guy.
And I was like, Jesus Christ, Greenland. My wife's like, this may be the first time I ain't going with you. But so the detailers, and I'm not sure what you guys call them, the guys that give you the orders.
Yeah.
They were in Washington, D.C. at the time. My brother was down in Virginia Beach. So we drove. Somebody said, you can go see that detailer and talk to him in person, get rid of these orders if possible. I'm like, okay, this is just a dude. So I took my kids, dropped them off at Virginia Beach where my brother was, drove up there, and you walk down this long hallway and it just has the NEC. So you're going, I'm looking for my dude. And this woman and her kid and her husband were coming back. She was crying. He was fucking pissed off, and the kid was crying. I was like, this is not going to be, I don't know if we're supposed to be here.
Yep, so they're not going to Hawaii.
They're not going. So this is a 100% true story. So I found, I was like, hey, Petty Officer, he was at E6. Petty Officer, I'm Rob Beaton. I talked to you about going to, I really need to go O-level. And he's like, social. He didn't even look at me. So he types my shit in and goes, yep, you're going to Greenland. Have a good time. And my wife goes, listen, he can't be an LDO if he doesn't go to an O-level squadron. And she's just chewing his ass. And he's going like this. He's looking at me, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm really fucked. So he just keeps looking at me. He's like, you know what? We have Japan. He will never be home. He will always be underway. He will be working his ass off, and you'll never see him. She goes, you want to go to Japan? I was like, okay. He goes, I'm putting them in. If they don't get approved, not my fucking problem. Get out of here. And I left, and I went to Japan. I made E7 in the squadron. It was a Hilo squadron. I made, again, not bragging, I made Sailor of the Year the first year. I made LDO the first time up. All of that shit in one command.
I love how disgusted you are at talking about your achievements. Just like,
because it just fell in, man. I didn't.
It's always how it goes.
It does. And again, I got there and I had this is the first day of the command, and I don't know shit. And I'm in, they had Johnny Cash's. When you checked in, you had a tie on, long sleeve. It was cold as shit there. And, chloroframs, all the nice things. I'm sitting in the shop, and everybody left to go work on stuff, and I'm waiting to check in, and we have a thing called the bitch box. It's maintenance controls like AEs, and I'm like, oh fuck, I don't even know how to operate the bitch box. So I went AEs. He's like, we need something on aircraft, whatever. And I was in E6, and I was like, do you have to be qualified? Who the fuck? And I could just hear slam, boom, 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 boom. Who the fuck are you? I was like, oh, I'm Petty Officer Beaton. He's like, you're the eye-level guy that we got, right? And he's like, fucking great. Bam, close the door. I went out on detachment with that guy, and his name is Mike Heap, and he made me everything. He set all of the stuff that I absolutely needed, the final check to be selected as an officer. 100%. Love that dude.
Because your wife has iron brass balls.
I would never, we would have been in fucking Greenland or Iceland or wherever the hell we were going. Yeah. He goes, he was disgusted. And I was like, where's, so I had to go back to the command and went, hey, there might be a thing. This guy, like, we'll see what happens. And I went, man. I went forward, FDNF forces. And my first deployment out of there right away on a small boy, on a frigate, and in cruisers and destroyers, all the small things. But what a great, that started, I would tell you, we had a good families, but when you're in a squadron like that, the family was so tight. We were in Japan with nobody, so the squadron was so tight. The family was so tight. When I left, they instantly, hung out with each other and took care of each other's kids, all the things that you think about, and not missing home. It's 1,000,000 miles away from Japan to Iowa, so we didn't leave very often. And Paula was there by herself the whole time.
Yeah, I mean that
always gone.
That I can relate to that, being in a big hospital and being in a small clinic. The dynamic, even though your job is essentially the same, it's not the same for whoever you're there with, whether it's your spouse, your kids, all the above. The group of people who take care of them in a small place is significantly different than in a large hospital. Even though, I was in like radiology and there's 200 people who work in radiology.
Yeah.
You go to a clinic, there's 35 people. And so everything about everyone there. Right. And I mean, you talk about stuff that you achieve, is it like it's a bad thing, like John said. And it really comes down to a lot of it is it's not necessarily for you being, because I'm the same way. It's not that we're, an awesome sailor or an awesome soldier. It's a lot of the time the people who surround us are just awful.
Yeah, there's plenty of those.
But it's true, right? You go to things, like when I went to be sailor or soldier of the year, everybody's like, oh, well, how did you do that? I'm like, well, the rest of y'all don't fucking do anything. Yeah. So you make me look awesome because all I do is the basic things I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And y'all can't do that.
Yeah.
So I look stellar and you just look terrible.
Yep.
So I'm not doing anything extraordinary. I'm just meeting the minimum.
But hopefully during that time you had people, because that's where it really started, and maybe the command before, they came up to you and go, hey, man, I want to do what you're doing. After a while, after you're like, look at this fucking guy. I had a lot of guys, a lot of E6s, especially once I got selected for chief and then got selected for LDO. They're like, how do I get to where you are? How'd you get there? What'd you have to do? Let me do what you're doing. And you show them what you did or how you did it. And those guys I still talk to so many of those guys that made it. I went to their commissionings, especially as an officer. I did their commissionings. I did their retirements. I've done a lot of those, and I'm still doing them. And that, and they give you a little love, which fucking gets me right here, and you're like, I don't know if I gave you love, but it sure is. I sure love seeing where I've got old dudes that are now skippers of different places now. It's fantastic. And they give you a little love. And my wife can't handle it, man. She loses it every time they're like, we're talking about, like, oh, Jesus Christ. But,
oh yeah. We had
such great people, man.
When I was in New Mexico, there was a guy who did kind of the same type of program, but it's for medics who want to be nurses.
Oh, yeah.
So they want to go from enlisted medics to being Army nurses. And so he did it. And now he, at that point in time, was like the subject matter expert in that program.
Yeah.
And so he set up anybody who wanted to go. He's like, these are all the blocks you need to check. Here's your checklist.
Yeah.
And then you fast forward like 4 years, and out of people I was stationed with who were medics that actually wanted to do it, there's one of them who is now a captain.
Yeah.
And then our chief nurse, when I left, was also a person who did the same program before he did it.
Nice.
And so at that point, he's a major, getting ready to be a lieutenant colonel.
Yeah.
And she is now a captain in that same thing and leading those same types of people who want to, be better through that same type of program.
Yep. Hopefully they take here's what it took me, but you go to different places. You got to take advantage of it. I keep saying you got to take advantage of what's there. And if it's shitty, then take advantage of that shitty thing. There's always a little bit of light in some shitty situation, but
yeah, I mean, even if you're in a terrible place,
yep.
Like
I've been in some terrible places.
Yeah, I mean, New Mexico, where we were, was not by any means geographically awesome.
Yeah.
However, there's tons of stuff to do within an hour to 2 hours away. So part of your job in making that a pleasurable place for you and your family is you have to take advantage of outside things. And then in other cases where you go, to big installations where there's lots of stuff, then you have things internally you can take advantage of for you career-wise and outside to go do.
Absolutely.
But that all takes initiative and effort on you as a sailor, soldier, airman, whatever.
It's all you and hopefully the people you have.
So where were the terrible places?
Hawaii. That wasn't terrible. That was fantastic. Where else? I was in Corpus Christi, Texas. That's fucking horrible. It's hot. It's humid. The people are always fantastic. I still have a mentor down there who stayed there for some godforsaken reason. But
the beach is nice.
Yeah, the water's dirty, so yeah, that's nice. That's a Gulf of Mexico beach shit is. I don't know. It's not the ocean, but it's so hot and humid in Texas that I tried to live there after the Navy, and that didn't work out. Too hot, man. So where else? Mostly Norfolk. That's where all this stuff is there.
Sure.
So Hawaii was probably the best. Japan, Hawaii, those are the best ones, I think.
I was gonna say, you guys are usually a one coast or the other.
Yep.
You're either in San Diego.
I didn't do any. Hawaii was the West Coast. I didn't, though I've detached and some of that stuff over there, but to Washington State and all those other places over there. Not West Coast. You're right. Once you're on East, that's it. You're staying on East most of the time.
What I do like about the idea of, when we joked around about the disgust of achievements, because at the end of the day, it isn't anything special.
Yeah.
Right? It is. I had another coach. He said, luck is just when preparation meets opportunity.
Huh.
And it's just the idea of just, no, you're going to do your work. You're going to do it 80% of you're just going to do what you're supposed to do. And that's going to take up 80% of your time.
Yeah.
And then as I've learned other phrases and other things, it's like these black swan events will come. This out of the ordinary opportunity is going to come. And because you've been taking care of the 80% day in and day out, just doing the slog, you're ready. And that opportunity is like, man, bitch, I was in the right place at the right time, and I was ready to be able to take advantage because I'd been doing all these things.
Yeah.
I saw the opportunity.
Yep.
I had the push in the right direction, and I was able to take advantage of it.
Yep.
And I just did it again and again and again until you make a 35-year career out of it.
Yeah. And those people that you were working with saw the advantage and went, I think we know a guy. Because you set yourself up, or, whatever, they set yourself. They listened to your goals and your wishes and your dreams and all this stuff with there and went, I think we got a guy. And, whether you perform well or not, hopefully, you said before, everybody around you isn't stellar.
Oh, yeah.
But it's that crew you build that pulls that guy that isn't. I have seen some shitbags turn into absolutely stellar sailors because of the team, and then they felt needed. They were shitty over there. You're now getting him because you guys are supposedly good. And you're like, oh, fuck, we got this guy. And they just turn around. It's all about, some people get bullied and, all of those terms, but you still need that guy. So you better figure it out, man.
Oh, yeah.
And that guy might need the same opportunity. He just waiting for an opportunity not to scrub shitters, for 4 years in a row while he was in the Navy, because there's plenty of those dudes that do it. You're a shitbag, go over there. You're a shitbag, go over there. Got to pull him in, man. Got to pull them in, and I would think the civilian world hopefully is the same way. But like you said, they fire them.
They fire them, and that's what gets deadly too. Is if you get typecasted, right? If we use a Hollywood phrase, you get typecasted as a shitbag.
Yep.
And you now have that anchor around your neck. That's hard to shake loose, and it really does. Again, for me, I'll always equate it back to my experiences, but it was working at a military school for middle school, high school age males. You have a majority of these kids where they have just been told that they're a shitbag.
Yeah.
Essentially, it was an island of lost toys. Their families had enough money to get them out of the house and get them away from the situation that they were in.
Absolutely.
And for us, it was a big deal because there were so many dudes where for me, it was the first time that they'd had a positive interaction with any type of school official at all, or having any success. And just having that little bit of success completely changes their mentality.
It does.
And it was my favorite kids were the ones that were the biggest shitbags.
Yep.
Because they knew that they could just derail your shit. They knew that they knew exactly how to push buttons. And if you just was like, nah, brother, I know the game you're playing.
Yeah.
We're going to make you successful and we're going to get through it. And the ones that were the most difficult kids, you gave them responsibility. You gave them an opportunity to be able to have some authority, give them some responsibility, and watch them rise to the occasion instead of just falling right align with what the world has told them, which is they're stupid, they're not smart, they're lazy, all those things. We'll give them an opportunity not to be.
Yeah.
And then foster that, and it's amazing what happens next.
Just give them a shot. I would tell you about kind of maybe the last thing on this is when I became a commander or an 04 commander, the chiefs or the division officers would bring the shop shit bag up in front of NJP, which is absolutely, it's NJP is supposed to be the last possible thing before, hopefully they got, do you know what NJP is? Non-judicial punishment or captain's mast or, whatever that is, whatever you guys call it. They would come to you, and then you'd have to take them to the skipper. And almost every single time, the more senior I got, the more I understood how this worked. Almost every single time, you'd gather the group. They'd, all right, brief me before we go in there so I understand what this kid is doing. Because I don't work with this kid day in, day out on the flight line. Why is he such a shitbag? And, fuck him, he needs to be kicked out, blah, blah. So the more that they dove into it, the more that I heard that he wasn't mentored, he wasn't he wasn't tracked. He was just on his own doing shit. And I will never forget the very first time I went, this sounds like a fucking E7 problem. So I was like, you go back to work, man. Let the kid go back to work. And it was nothing but ass chewing on the new division officer. And he stayed back. And then I was like, you two fuckers leave and you stay back. It's like, see what we're doing to this kid? We're sending him home because you fucking guys did not mentor him. You didn't monitor him. You didn't set him up for success. All of that shit. Never went to captain's mast. Two pissed off E7s, not my fucking problem. You now have to fix that guy. That guy's going nowhere. You guys will go somewhere, but he is going nowhere. You have absolutely set him up. And it's not that time. It's not that way every single time. But the majority of the time was just complete miscommunication or non-mentorship, non-supervision. You just let him go rogue and labeled him. The very first thing. You labeled him, and then that was it. Every single time.
We had a guy who was in charge while we were in the hospital. And anytime we got a new soldier when he was our, section NCOIC, he would call wherever that person came from and ask about them.
Nice.
And it didn't matter if they were good soldier, bad soldier, shitbag, whatever. He'd call and he would ask who is this person? Yeah. What is their work ethic like? Because he wanted to know before they got there kind of how to deal with or what type of person he's perceptively getting.
Right.
And then, because the Army's a small place like that. When you go into nuke med or radiology, so, you have big Army, then you have medical, then you go hospital, then you go wherever you are in the hospital, and then you got this tiny little section
right.
That's nuke med. Because, when I got out of the Army, there were 35 guys, E6 and below, who did what I did. In the entire Army. And so when you get a new nuke med guy, it's real simple to call and figure out who this guy is because everybody knows, you look at the promotion sheet and you're like, oh, nope, I know him. I know them all. Yeah. And so it's easy to differentiate. And you're like, yep, I remember that dude when we were in x-ray school and he was a shitbag then. Yep. Somehow he made it to nuke school and graduated. And then he gets there and you're like, nope, you're still a shitbag. Interesting.
Yeah.
How did you get here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you put in a good career.
Yep.
You get out. You don't have to go to the civilian life because the reality is you crossed all your T's, dotted all your I's. That's where you get to be.
Good to go.
So what do you do with your time?
When we left 6 months before I retired, we bought an RV, a big fucking RV, big 45-foot, and bought a Ram 3500 dually to pull it. And the day I retired after my retirement ceremony. We packed everything up. In between time, we sold our house, got rid of all of our shit, and put all the memories in storage. That's what we basically call them. But you got rid of all the shit, and we had a big house, which was not the thing to do because that's a lot of shit to get rid of.
Yeah.
So, and we took off. We went to Illinois where things were legal and tried that because it's been 35 years.
Sure.
And that worked out. So then we just kind of moved around the country, went down south. My daughter lived in Texas at the time. So we stayed down there in the winter and I goofed around. I did kind of a nature dude. So I did a thing called Master Naturalist, where you just know a little bit about everything nature. And it's just a good group, good volunteer group for the national parks. Since they're all cut back, you just kind of help them volunteer, do all of that stuff, right? I've counted birds for the Smithsonian. I've counted.
That's awesome.
I've gone up in the mountains here and looked for salamanders that are rare, and frog. Just whatever. Just kind of fills my time because I'm an outdoor guy. But in the meantime, it was during COVID, so we spent a lot of time in the RV parks, and we were hoping to be part of that community. Having some drinks and bullshitting and traveling around, but. That didn't really satisfy as much, although we got to see so much stuff because it was all outside. I liked the idea. That's when I decided I liked the idea of, when you go on leave, do you guys call it leave? What do you call it? Furlough, leave, whenever you're.
Yeah.
Even if it's 30 days, the day you go on leave, you have 29 days and you got to freaking go back. So it's in your mind all the time. Like, I can only do this because I got to drive all the way back. That feeling went absolutely away. That was the best feeling. That is why I am staying retired. I don't have to, I got some medical shit, but you can reschedule that as long as you're not dying or whatever. And not having a calendar to stick to and have to be somewhere when I have to be, that's what we did for 2 years.
And what ultimately brings you to Salute's building?
I got bored. Because I like to do woodworking. I like to do outside stuff. And the RV, living in the RV, it's still cool. We travel all the time. In fact, we're getting ready to go to Maine, and we just got back from Eastern Virginia. So we go all the time. Now we have a motorhome that I drive around in. But we camped through this area, and my daughter said, "Hey, I'll come there if you figure out." We wanted to get close to the grandkids because that's what you do when you get old. You get close to the grandkids for some damn reason. I'm not sure why, but I said we're not living in Texas. And they're like, "Well, my son-in-law lives in West Virginia, so my daughter is not his sister. I can guarantee that they are not related whatsoever." So we had to pick a spot. And my son lives in Burke near Alexandria, D.C., and it's I don't want all my retirement to go to that shit, so I don't want another job. So I wasn't going to live there. So we just kind of picked a spot because we camped here and we liked it. More me than my wife because she still wanted to stay in the RV because talk about no bills. We didn't have anything, man. Insurance, just the normal stuff. So we found a house. I've been redoing the house, or I did completely redone the house. It's here in Waynesboro, got like an acre of land. And now I'm working my ass off again. So I'm not sure how that happened,
full circle.
Yeah. And I got a shop at woodworking, just doing what I like to do, man. Now I took up fly fishing and all that shit. So as long as we can travel, my wife's pretty good with that. We both got couple of medical things. Most of my stuff's been repaired and whatever. She's got some stuff. So it's a nice, stable place. It's a great area. And then I said, you know what? Maybe it's time, because this was the 3-year mark, maybe 2.5-year mark. I was like, maybe I should see what the VFW, American Legion, and my wife's like, fuck, you're going to go to the old place to drink beer and smoke, right?
Right.
Because I thought it was too, because I used to live right next to an American Legion before I joined, and it was quarter beers and a bunch of old dudes and whatever. So I kind of looked at which one do I want to at least look into. I don't know if I want to join, man, but the camaraderie, if you don't miss the camaraderie when you get out, then I feel absolutely sorry for you that you didn't have that while you were in.
Yeah.
So, and I knew it was going to be a bunch of old codgers that talk about some shit I'd never heard of, but I love listening to that stuff. I thought that's what it was going to be. It isn't. We all have stories, and you guys have sat out there. There's lots of stories, and you meet a lot of people, but I decided the American Legion, because I wanted it. Well, I don't want to dog any other thing, but the American Legion was for me. Whether I I did a deployment in Iraq, so I could do VFW. I'm all fucked up, so I could be in DAV or whatever. So, but American Legion seemed to fit me. It was all inclusive. You know, if you serve a day, which I don't agree with necessarily, but that's all right. But if you, no matter where you served or what you did or whether you deployed or not, because we all can't deploy. I told you there's numerous sailors who did 4 years and never deployed. Not their fault. They joined. The Navy told them what to do. So it's not. I wanted some place that was all inclusive, if you will, and I found it. I found it here. So I checked in here. What I did find, and this is the daily struggle for everybody. VFW, probably DAV, is getting the members engaged. We're at the post-COVID thing. At least that's what it sounds like. I heard lots of in our post, there is a lot of stories about how we used to do so much, and then COVID came. I don't know, it could be a bullshit excuse, but everybody got, got comfortable not going out and doing stuff. And in the meantime, they all developed, all the older dudes developed some medical shit, or they got it all fixed there, and they have, some problems getting back out. So we're just trying to reinvigorate the post, and we're doing it, and then get new guys in. And then that's the hardest part, getting newer, younger people in. We've put some stuff in place, and we're making big money on that, getting the new guys in and reinvigorating the old guys. Just this last meeting we had on Tuesdays, the first Tuesday of every month, some old guys came back. We did a buddy check for the first time since I've been in there, and guys are like, I don't know what the hell's going on. Well, they don't read their emails. Their emails say, Martha and John at whatever.aol. Fuck, they don't read that shit at all. It's spam because they've gotten so much spam. And they don't answer their phones because they've gotten so much spam. So we either send a handwritten letter, which has just made money, because you got to touch that and go, what do these fuckers want? And like, oh, they're doing a thing. So they've been coming in. We're doing old school with new school. We got a comms guy who just happens to be my son. He did his time in the Air Force. And he has reinvigorated and reinvented our website and Facebook and put us all on Instagram and all that stuff. And they're all viewing it. They're all liking it. And new guys are coming in going, how do I get in there, man?
How important is the community?
Community, that's where we're at, the very biggest part. When we stop doing stuff, it's a little sad, but the community forgets about you.
Yeah.
So they hadn't done a lot of funerals, which is my absolute, it's sad to say, but I absolutely love doing those just because of what it represents. We did one funeral in the 2 years that almost I was in, and then, now we've done 6, 7, 8. Now they just call because we haven't been back out there. Or when they call, they went, I don't have enough people that can do it. And now we do. And now we have a good core, and we just built up. And we just added 2 more to it. We have some color guard events. We just recently did a color guard event, and we got asked to do another one. So the community is huge, but we have to do our part to get out there. They don't know we're here. They're like, hey, call the American Legion. Well, I did last year, and they said we don't have anybody. We're trying to do away with that.
The struggle for sure. I was doing some statistics in another part of my life, things that I do for business, and we were looking at statistics right now. A little over 30% of the U.S. population is over the age of 60. And so the fact is that your baby boom generation, there was a whole bunch of them, which is why we call them the baby boom. Yeah. But the reality is they're all aging out. Yeah. We now have, and so you have a massive population of folks that are in our communities that are above the age of 55. Yeah. And the fact is that the trades are feeling it, which the average age is about that within our trades, and a dire need of being able to attract younger people, younger veterans, younger tradesmen, whatever it is, to be able to kind of pick up that mantle and carry it. What is that? Why do you think it's not like community is any less important because you're 35 or 45, but why is it that it doesn't matter, we don't think about it, or we're not yearning for it as badly until we're 60?
Well, you have to stay relevant is what it comes down to more than anything. And if the community doesn't know that you're relevant or have capability of doing whatever, then no one calls you, right? Because they don't know.
That's our case, 100%. That is our case. That they did a lot. There's a lot of good stories, but why aren't they calling us now? Because they called before, and we just ran out of people to do it. And now we are trying to get out there through the comms, all, social media, all that stuff. And it's starting to work. We're only about 2 months into that. And it's just incredible how much that's already worked. And as my son says, my son's 38. He says, you got 15 minutes to convince me why I would want to join the 15 seconds.
Yeah, I was just saying, 15, I was like, I don't know about that.
He said, whether you put it in print or tell it to me in person, you got 15 seconds. And if I'm rolling, if not that. So you gotta be on your game, especially, you can't write a long ass email. First of all, I didn't know I wasn't going to read it, but I don't read that shit either. Or you have to put it out there right now. And that's what we're working on.
Too long didn't read.
No.
That is a thing. TLDR is a thing where it is, dude, you better be concise.
Yep.
And you better cut to the chase.
Yep.
What's the ROI?
Yep.
Why are you going to get my time? Why are you going to get my money? Why are you going to get my attention?
All that. That's what and he also said he has brought so much to light to, and he was at first time, since he lives 2.5 hours away, he came to the meeting on the other day and basically said that same thing to everybody. Why do we spend money? Why should I spend my money to join you that nobody even knows who you are? So we have to spend money, and you got to spend a little bit of money. These old bastards don't like to spend any money, even if you have some in the leader. Like, well, I don't want to be out there fucking selling hot dogs on the corner again. We don't have to, man, and we just have to be out there to let people know what we're doing. But you got to put a little money. Social media isn't free. There's a lot of free shit out there, but it only takes you to so far. So you got to spend a little bit to invest in each chapter.
So we spent a little bit more than 15 seconds on this.
Yeah.
But what is the 15-second pitch?
Oh God, you have to ask my son. Let me call him.
What is the attractor? What is it for somebody like your son's age, Zach's age, my age?
Yep.
Why are we going to want to be able to join a group with just a bunch of old guys?
Here's what I know. The young guys, when you get out of the military, the number one thing I wanted to do was demilitarize. I didn't want to wear my combat boots. My feet are all fucked. I've been wearing those things for 35 years, man. Flight deck boots, not combat boots. Putting the uniform on was a piece of cake, but all I wanted to do, I didn't want the problems, because as you know, as you get senior, you got more things, the phone calls, all this. I want all that to go away, and I wanted to remember who my wife was and who my family is, and see what other things are out there. So you have to take some time. You can't attack those dudes when they come right out. Hey, you want to join the Legion? Because number one, they don't want to see you. They don't want to listen to old people. They don't want a military anything. So there's a 2, 3, 4 year period where they start to go, man, we used to have so much fun out there doing some shit and talking to the guys. We used to fucking harass each other. And I remember this time, this dude was wasted and fucked the chicken. Whatever the hell he did.
Right.
Those guys start to come back into that section, and then that's when they start to look. And that's where your 15 seconds begins. But you have to show that you are doing something in the community, because those guys and I could probably listen to some old dudes or maybe help those guys out or whatever. Because I asked Kevin, my son, the same thing. Why do you want to do it? And he's like, you know what? Volunteer is a huge thing, even at work. If they show you do it, it's kind of like when I was going up for LDO and all the other things. If you're a well-rounded sailor or a well-rounded worker, not only that, it makes you connections and some of the other things. He's like, it's time for me to kind of do some volunteer stuff. I do a lot at work. I'm busy. I'm inside. He's a information security guy. He's like, I just want to show that I can, that I'm well-rounded. And not only that, but I miss the dudes I was with. And I'll listen to the old guys, but I wanted to tell them some younger stories, because they've heard the same shit time after time. So you have to spend that 15 seconds going, where's my money going to go? Well, your money's going to go to the community, for scholarships, for or emergencies. There's a lot of specific things that we're kind of working on. More community-based, like you're doing here. There needs to be a place for veterans to go to talk to each other. Well, there's lots of them, but you can spend a quarter beer. What is it now? $9 a beer, and talk about the war that you were in, or that you would have gone in if they would have let you. Nobody wants to hear. I don't want to say nobody wants to hear that stuff. That's kind of the stigma of what's out there. So what's new and relevant? It can really just show you that and you hear about Vietnam and some of the other places where you're forgotten. If you let that stuff go, you will feel forgotten. That's what I've learned a little bit. And then when you start to get back into it, you don't want to come into the Legion and be rejected because you're the new guy. You want to be accepted and not forgotten. And that's what accepts those guys in there. if they roll in and we don't welcome them in, we never see them again. Even though they might pay their dues or whatever and be in for a year, we have found, even through ours, that if we don't, and we should, welcome them, announce them, talk to them, ask them about their story, that they feel welcome, and then they will dive in and feel like part of the community that they left a long time ago. Maybe they were a shitbag a long time ago, but we can't make them feel that way this time. That's acceptance, the number one thing. You have 15 seconds to get those guys, let them feel accepted, or it's not going to happen.
And give them an excuse to participate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Give them numerous things to do. We're all busy, but you can pick and choose and do whatever you want to do. A color guard, honor guard. You want to be an officer in the Legion. Easy to do. There is no, even though they call it officer, where one member voice is as strong as the commander's. We're all members. We just happen to have titles because we got to take care of some shit, depending on the title. But 15 seconds to make them feel welcome and valuable and part of the process of, what they did in the past to make their stuff relevant today to help those of us that might need it.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got to make them feel important.
Mm-hmm. You do. It sounds kind of like babysitting, but it's not. That's not really it, man. You might have lost that importance when you left that great community. I was in the shit with the guys, man, and now they feel a little lost. Demilitarize. I got to get all that off me. Some dudes don't always let that go, but then you always tend to come back. You have a good story. Everybody's got a story. Even if you're a shitbag, you got a good story. Guaranteed.
Shitbags typically have the best.
They got the
story.
great story.
I was going to say.
It's probably not about you, but you were involved or there.
Yeah, or saw it or heard or whatever. And we all love that stuff, man. We'll have a beer with you, or if that's what you want, and talk about it or whatever, and feel accepted. That's it. If you're not going to be in and be part of the community. Those guys will do. If they will be part of the community, which is needed. There's more. You guys know there's more veterans out there that need more things, but we're not welcoming them, or they don't feel welcome.
So if I want to be able to learn more about the American Legion,
yeah.
What's your social media handles? Where can we find you? Where do you want us to send folks to?
You can go to AmericanLegion.org, or you can look at our posts, especially the local guys. It's American Legion Post 340. You look that up. There's one, I think, in New Hampshire. I don't think those guys do anything, but we do. We're on there, and you'll see the new latest and greatest thing. But Post 340, you can even just Google that, and it'll bring us right up. Kevin keeps that thing relevant, so it keeps us at the top. If you Google us, we're one of the top ones that'll pop up right away. So as long as he keeps putting stuff in there, and he puts all our events in there, if you look at that, you're going to see what we do and what we're doing and what we're looking for. It's all on there. Probably easier written down for you to look at, and there's lots of, we'll direct you to here in the morning. Like I just signed somebody up this morning because I've been talking to him, and he came here for the brunch. And he decided himself which one he wanted to do. And says, I like the Legion, man. I sat down with him, told him what we're doing, where we're at, where we were, where we're going, maybe it fits with what he wants. And it exactly was. This particular guy doesn't have this great career and, all the great things happened to him, but he's been out a while. He still just wants to fit in. And you don't have to have a great career. You could serve, 2 years and got medically discharged. You still serve, man. You did something. And if you're considered a veteran, if you want to continue to be considered a veteran, be part of the veteran community, that's why we're there. You don't have to go serve in a foreign war. You don't have to do all that shit, kick indoors. You don't have to be a SEAL. You can be whatever you are. You did the same thing we did. We had different opportunities. We stayed in longer, did whatever those, like we said before, wanted us to do. Maybe you didn't have that opportunity. Your fucking leg fell off, and now you couldn't serve, man. So you had to get out. That's not your problem. That's not your fault. And we'll help you feel that way.
Nicely done. The way we start every episode is you're just going to give your name. Oh. We didn't start there because you were fucking rolling, man. So I just hit.
Sorry.
No, it's all right.
Sorry, man. I had a lot of coffee.
We were like, hey, where do we want to go? But off you went. So I just hit record. Yeah. So I'll just have you say your name, kind of whatever you want to do. This will just be how the episode starts, and then I'll splice in the conversation.